On the 21st of March 2002, Amanda Jane Millie Dowler, a 13-year-old English schoolgirl, was reported missing by her parents after failing to return home from school and not being seen since walking along Station Avenue in Walton-on-Thames, Surrey, that afternoon. Following an extensive search for her, her remains were discovered in Yatley Heath Woods in Yatley, Hampshire, on the 18th of September. On the 23rd of June 2011, Levi Belfield, who was already serving 3 life sentences for the murders of Marsha McDonnell and Emily Delagrange and the attempted murder of Kate Sheedy, was found guilty of abducting and murdering Dowler and sentenced to an additional whole life tariff. On the 27th of January 2016, Surrey police announced that Belfield had admitted to abducting, abusing and killing Dowler. Following their daughter's death, Dowler's parents established a charity called Millie's Fund to promote public safety, and in particular the safety of the children and young people. The case generated debate over the treatment of victims and witnesses in court, after Dowler's family criticized the way they were cross-examined during Belfield's trial. Dowler's murder played a significant role in the News of the World phone hacking scandal. In 2011, reports said the News of the World journalists had accessed Dowler's voicemail after she was reported missing, giving her parents false hope she was still alive. The resulting outcry from the British public contributed to the closure of the newspaper and led to a range of investigations and inquiries into phone hacking and media ethics in British media. Disappearance at 3:07 p.m. on the 21st of March 2002. Dowler left Heathside School in Weybridge and walked to Weybridge railway station with a friend. The girls disembarked at Walton-on-Thames railway station, one stop before Dowler's usual stop of Hersham, and went to eat at the station cafe. After Dowler telephoned her father at 3:47 p.m. to say she would be home in half an hour, the girls left the cafe at 4:05, with Dowler walking home alone. She was last seen 3 minutes later, walking along Station Avenue, by a friend of her sister, who was waiting at a bus stop. A closed-circuit television camera located further along the road showed no images of Dowler. A red Daewoo, which belonged to Levi Belfield's girlfriend Emma Mills, was photographed driving past by the same camera at 4:32 p.m. In an April 2009 interview, Belfield said that he was driving the car. When Dowler failed to return home, she was reported missing to the police at 7 p.m. A nationwide search for her followed, with 100 police officers and helicopters searching fields, streets and rivers around Hersham. Detectives who had investigated the abduction of Sarah Payne were called in to help. Police and the Dowler family made many appeals for information, including a reconstruction on Crime Watch UK. The Crime Watch UK appeal included a direct appeal to Dowler in the hope that she had run away from home of her own accord. A plea was also made by pop idol winner Will Young, whose concert Dowler had attended shortly before her disappearance. Dowler's mother expressed hope that her daughter had run away, but said that she could not think of a reason why she would want to do so. The Independent reported in 2011 that Dowler had, some time previously, written a mock leaving home letter and notes showing she had been unhappy. A week after Dowler's disappearance, the police stated that she was probably not taken by force. They reasoned that while she was unlikely to have gone off with someone she did not know of her own free will, no one had come forward who had witnessed a struggle, despite a number of apparent sightings of her prior to her disappearance. On the 23rd of April 2002, the discovery of a body in the River Thames prompted media speculation that the remains might be those of Dowler, but the body was identified the following day as that of 73-year-old Maisie Thomas, who went missing in March 2001, and whose death was not believed to be suspicious. In June 2002, despite further searches, the offer of a £100,000 reward by national tabloid newspaper The Sun and her parents continuing to send text messages to her mobile telephone in hope of a reply, Dowler remained missing. That month, police told her parents that she was probably dead. Body discovery and murder investigation. On the 18th of September 2002, naked human remains were discovered by mushroom pickers in Yateley Heath Woods near Yateley, Hampshire. They were later confirmed through dental records as Dowler's. Due to the severity of the decomposition, the cause of death could not be ascertained. No items of Dowler's clothing or possessions, the purse, rucksack or mobile phone she had with her at the time of her disappearance have ever been recovered. The discovery of the body led the police to reclassify the case from a missing person to a homicide investigation, undertaken by Surrey Police. The investigation was codenamed Operation Ruby. On the 22nd of November 2002, police set up a roadblock near the spot where the body was found. Some 6,000 motorists in the area were questioned, but no leads were discovered. Initially, the Surrey Police had considered Dowler's father a suspect, as police have often found that family members are implicated in such cases. They later apologized for the missed opportunities their attention to this track may have caused. On the 23rd of March 2003, DNA of an unidentified male was discovered on an item of Dowler's clothing in her bedroom, suggesting that her killer may have met her before. This link was ruled out within 3 months, at the same time that a DNA link to a church robbery in Sunderland was also ruled out. Paul Hughes was convicted of making threats to kill and was jailed for 5 years after sending letters to Dowler's sister threatening to kill her and claiming to have killed Dowler. Hughes sent the letters while in prison for indecently assaulting a 12-year-old girl. The prison service apologized for not screening mail effectively. Leanne Newman, of Tewkesbury, Gloucestershire, repeatedly phoned Dowler's parents, school and the police, pretending to be Dowler. Newman was jailed in April 2003 for 5 months after pleading guilty to 5 counts of making phone calls to cause annoyance, inconvenience or needless anxiety. Gary Farr, of Retford, Nottinghamshire, repeatedly emailed Dowler's parents, school friends and police officers working on the case, claiming that Dowler had been smuggled out of the country to work as a prostitute and stripper at nightclubs in Poland, and that her alleged death had been a cover-up. Farr was sectioned indefinitely under the Mental Health Act on the 19th of October 2006 for being a serious psychological danger to the public after admitting a charge of harassment. In March 2008, a man was arrested over the disposal of a car linked to the murder investigation, but he was released later that same day. On the 4th of August 2009, a 40-year-old man from West London was arrested in relation to the disposal of a red Daewoo, but later released without charge. 2 months later, Bedfont Lakes Country Park in West London was searched by police in the hope of finding the car, but they recovered neither the car nor anything else of interest to their inquiry. The car has yet to be found. On the 25th of February 2008, Surrey Police confirmed that Levi Belfield was their prime suspect in the murder inquiry and that they were very interested in questioning him. On the 30th of March 2010, Belfield was charged with Dowler's abduction and murder. As a result, the inquest into the death was adjourned. On the 6th of October 2010, Belfield appeared in court via video link, as he was already serving 3 life sentences for murder and attempted murder. He was formally charged with 1 count of attempted abduction, 1 count of abduction, 1 count of disposal of evidence, and 1 count of murder. Trial of Belfield. Belfield's trial began on the 10th of May 2011 at the Central Criminal Court before Mr. Justice Wilkie and concluded on the 23rd of June 2011. The jury found him guilty. He was sentenced to life imprisonment the following day, and the trial judge recommended a whole life tariff in line with his previous murder convictions 3 years earlier. The trial of Belfield on another charge of attempted abduction, in the case of Rachel Cowles, an 11-year-old girl known to have been offered a lift in the Walton area by a man in a red car on the 20th of March 2002, was abandoned due to newspapers publishing prejudicial material. The judge ordered that the charge should remain on file. Post-trial. Following the trial of Belfield, the murder of Dowler investigation and trial were the subject of a special Crime Watch program, titled Taken: The Millie Dowler Story, which was broadcast on BBC One on the 30th of June 2011. It featured interviews with witnesses, the family, and investigators. It explored how Belfield was caught. It also featured a reconstruction of what is believed to have occurred, based on court transcripts. On the 27th of January 2016, Surrey police announced that Belfield had admitted to the abduction, rape and murder of Dowler. This was after another arrest in the Dowler case had been made and Belfield was interviewed about whether he had had an accomplice. After Belfield's confession, the police released the individual they had arrested without charge. On the 12th of February 2016, Belfield changed his story, denying that he had confessed to Dowler's murder. Reactions to court proceedings after Belfield's sentencing. The Dowler family strongly criticized their treatment during the trial. Dowler's sister Gemma described the day that her parents were cross-examined by Belfield's defense lawyer as the worst day of my life. Her mother told reporters outside the Old Bailey, "For us, the trial has been a truly awful experience. We have had to hear Millie's name defamed in court. She has been portrayed as an unhappy, depressed young girl. The Millie we knew was a happy, vivacious, fun-loving girl. Our family life has been scrutinized and laid open for everyone to inspect. We've had to lose our right to privacy and sit through day after harrowing day of the trial in order to get a man convicted of this brutal murder. The lengths the system goes to protect his human rights seems so unfair compared to what we as a family have had to endure." Dowler's father, Bob, commented on Belfield's refusal to give evidence in court and to appear for sentencing. He added, "My family's had to pay too high a price for this conviction. The trial has been a truly mentally scarring experience on an unimaginable scale. You had to have been there to truly understand. During our questioning, my wife and I both felt as if we were on trial. We despair of a justice system that is so loaded in favor of the perpetrator of the crime." Chief Constable Mark Rowley, who oversaw the investigation, joined the Director of Public Prosecutions in calling for changes and for greater protection of victims and witnesses during court cases. Rowley said it was a most bizarre and distressing coincidence that the Dowler family had their privacy destroyed at a time when footballers and celebrities were being granted super injunctions to protect details of their personal lives. Justice Secretary Kenneth Clark rejected calls for a review of criminal cases, saying, "It is just an unfortunate anomaly in the application of a fair and balanced judicial system." Clark said that, while Belfield had been convicted of previous murders, he had to be presumed innocent in the Dowler case and found guilty by a jury in a full court process, and not presumed guilty. To avoid prejudicing the trial, the court did not allow evidence to be introduced of Belfield's obsession with schoolgirls, and his attempts to procure sex from them. Voicemail tampering investigation. The Guardian reported on the 4th of July 2011 that Scotland Yard had discovered Dowler's voicemail had been accessed by journalists working for the News of the World and the newspaper's private investigator Glenn Mulcair. The Guardian also reported that, during the police investigation into that newspaper's phone hacking activities, detectives discovered that journalists had deleted some messages, potential evidence, in Dowler's voicemail box because it was full, in order to free up space for new messages, to which they could listen. The deletions after Dowler was missing led family and friends to think that she was still alive. It was later reported that Dowler's phone automatically deleted messages 72 hours after they were listened to. Dowler's parents announced via their solicitor that they would pursue a claim for damages against the News of the World. In September 2011, it was reported that the Dowler family had been offered £2 million in personal damages. In January 2012, it was reported that Surrey police and other police forces knew soon after Dowler's death that News of the World staff had accessed her mobile phone messages, but did not take issue with this. Instead, a senior Surrey officer invited newspaper staff to a meeting to discuss the case. Legacy Dowler's parents, Sally and Bob Dowler, launched a charity called Millie's Fund on the day of her memorial service in October 2002. Its mission was to promote public safety, and in particular the safety of the children and young people. The charity provides risk assessment advice to teenagers, youth workers, and educators. Its work includes the Teach Your Mom to TXT campaign, which encourages children and parents to stay in contact via text messaging, including the glossary for parents of commonly used SMS abbreviations. The campaign was awarded Best Use of Mobile for Accessibility at the 2004 GSM Association Awards. Millie's Fund commissioned a 5-part soap opera titled Watch Over Me, 2003, which encourages personal safety for teenagers, to be distributed to every school in the UK. In 2005, the family announced that the charity would be transferred to the Suzy Lampolog Trust. Millie's Fund was wound up that year. At the 2005 Hampton Court Palace Flower Show, a garden designed in memory of Dowler by Penny Smith won the Tudor Rose Award, the show's highest honor. Its design was supported by the Surrey Police and Millie's Fund. A magenta sweet pea was named after Dowler and made publicly available by Matthew Mann's sweetpeas.o. And the 29th of June 2017, Dowler's sister Gemma released a book dedicated to Dowler, titled My Sister Millie. The investigation that led to Belfield's arrest was dramatized in the 3-part 2019 television series Manhunt, with Martin Clunes playing Colin Sutton. References. Further reading: Wansell, Jeffrey, 2011. The Bus Stop Killer, Millie Dowler, Her Murder and the Full Story of the Sadistic Serial Killer Levi Belfield. London, Penguin. ISBN 9780241952818. External links: Murder of Millie Dowler collected news and commentary at The Guardian.